Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's midday of the 7th of June 2023. I've not long been out of bed. I got up at about 10, I think it was 10 a.m. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit like wrung out. Still recovering from the dental treatment I had. I've tried to contact Metro North to organise a root canal, and they said I could come on Thursday or Friday, and then my preference is actually to go back to the lovely private dentist because she was so very good, but I don't think they're going to fund that. So I'm getting the runaround, and in the meantime I'm not feeling well, so I've decided to, when in doubt, do nothing. My tooth isn't too painful today. It's a little bit tight, but it's not causing me terrible pain. So honestly, I just wish it would go away. I guess it's not going to go away by itself, but the psychedelic dreamer dreams, and she's self-healed before, so she can self-heal again. Yes, it's been a very emotionally kind of thinned out, wrung out week because I've been watching YouTube videos and they're all banging on all the scientists. Very few are actually trustworthy anyway, given the COVID paradigm, so quite frankly they can go to hell in a handbasket in my opinion. But they're all banging on about the AGI, takeover, and how the machines are going to completely annihilate the human race. And honestly, that is in the realms of possibility, given we've let this thing out that we can't control and we don't know how it operates. It's like driving behind a car racing down a highway at 200 kilometres per hour, not knowing where the brakes are. It's just like, it's mindlessly stupid. But these were our scientists, who, mind you, have been in the field for 30 years. So you think they would have known that they were going to let something rather like the worst case scenario of Pandora's box out of the bag and not be able to control it. So anyway, dark thoughts. I discussed it yesterday. I had my hair done yesterday with my lovely hairdresser Kylie, who makes me look glamorous and beautiful. I was in a very dark headspace yesterday morning, so actually it was lovely to spend the day getting my hair done, being pampered by my lovely hairdresser, who's always so loving and kind and loves to chit-chat about things. And she was telling me how AI is now doing, high school kids assignments for them, and no doubt university, scientists and academic assignments for them. So we're going to have a generation ultimately that won't have an original thought, and if they want to know something, they'll just pump it into AI and AI regurgitate it. And I'm actually perceiving that we're going to have a situation a bit like that movie, The Time Machine? With the EI, people that are all just, lights are on but nobody's home, and they just get fed, and eventually they get fed to the machines. It's like, it's a worry. It's a grave worry. But I've got enough to worry about with my teeth and my level of poverty and my usual struggles, my usual existential angst and distress about not having a partner and security in my old age. So I can't be overloaded with mad doom and gloom scenarios about AI and how they want to destroy us. And so my purpose of this video is to remind myself, and those of you who stumble across my videos, we're going to be okay. Whatever happens, we're going to be okay. Even if the worst thing happens and AI completely destroys humanity and all living forms, there is another dimension after this, and our lives don't stop with this physical one. I personally believe it, so it gives me comfort. It gives me a level of comfort. Of course, as I am a warrior goddess and I have fought for this this little short fat hobbit body for 58 years, and I will continue to fight for it as long as I have the breath in my body, the teeth in my head, and the intellectual capacity. I will continue to fight for, human rights and my life on this planet, because that's what we're basically, we're earthlings and we're committed to life on this planet, except for those strange types like Elon Musk that just want to escape and trash up a whole other planet, a whole other planet. That was that funny. I love it when I stumble over my tongue, create a new language. I want to trash Mars, as if Mars wasn't trashed enough in some horrendous cataclysmic event billions of years ago. So life goes on, life finds a way. It always does. It always has and always will. But what kind of life will we have for our children if we continue in the way we're going, where scientists are telling their own babies that they've got 5 years to live? I mean, it's heinous. It's psychopathic and it's heinous. So I'm sitting under my tree, my frangipani tree, who has divested herself of all her leaves because it's winter time here in Brisbane, Australia. And I'm hanging out with my bird, but only sort of, because I'm over here and she's over there. But she was really keen to come outside. She's been cooped up for a few days. I had to put her into the hallway because, her cage in the hallway, because for the last few days I was working on coating some copper bangles and a few other bits and pieces with Protector Clear. And the fumes were quite intense, so I worried about it killing my bird, I did accidentally kill one of my birds many years ago, not realising how toxic the fumes were. It wasn't Protector Clear, it was some other thing. I'm fairly sure that's what killed it, and I feel incredibly guilty to this day. So I thought, well, we won't be taking risks with her health. So I moved her into the other room, and she spent the last few... Not last night I moved her back into her room, but the previous few nights she slept in the hallway in her cage, and she was actually quite good because she was closer to my bedroom, and I think she felt sort of comforted by the fact that she could hear Bobo and I snoring and breathing through the night. Probably doesn't feel quite so isolated as sleeping at the other end of the house, right? So she's a happy little birdie to be out in the garden, and the weather's not too cold. I'm not feeling cold, but it's grey and murky and a bit awful. But over there in the east, there's a bit of blue sky peeping out. So the day has potential, people. The day has potential. So yes, I'm a bit worried about my teeth and being shuttlecocked back to the Metro North said that since I started the general voucher with the private dentist that she can organise a treatment plan, and she told me that I have to go back to them to organise it. So I'm being shuttlecocked and obfuscated and pushed off the system, kind of, right? Maybe not. I have to have faith in human nature. I did ask the dentist to fight for me because someone has to fight for me. I'm constantly marginalised in this draconian system. It's evil. I asked Optus, I rang Optus the other day, and I asked for 4-day extension to pay a bill. It's due on the 9th, and I said I'll pay it on the 13th. Did I get the runaround for that? It's actually disgraceful. I've been a customer of theirs since 1994, and you just get treated like some kind of animal when you ask for a little bit of financial support. I wasn't saying I'm not going to pay the bill. It's only 4 fucking days. And then the best option they could come up with was to take the money out of the account so the direct debit fails, right? And then I'll have 10 days to pay it manually. But the thing is, then you get slammed with a $15, fee for dishonouring your direct debit, don't you? So you run up more debt. So no, I'm not going to play into their psychopathic psychodrama games. But Optus used to be a very good company when I first started, first got my phone in 1994. And also, when I went bankrupt in 1996, which was under coercion by my mother and her con artist then boyfriend. I mean, they got me when I was vulnerable and ill and not coping and not able to manage life because I was so depleted. And so I was coerced into that. But I always stayed loyal to Optus because at that point in time, I put them down as a list of creditors. I think I only owed them $300. And they said to me, no, you're a woman on your own with 2 small children. It's very important that you have your phone, and do not put us as a list of creditors. We will give you enough grace to pay your bill, get on top of your bill, and we will keep your phone going. And for that loyalty and respect from me as a woman on my own, by the way, who'd not long prior been strangled and was now having to go into bankruptcy and the horror. It was a horror without end. But for that loyalty, I did stay with Optus all these years. But the last few years I've noticed they've become more and more detached and mercenary when you ask to extend a bill, or when I wanted to get this new phone, what was it, 12 months ago, 18 months ago? That turned into a psychodrama from hell too. So it's ugliness. It's ugliness. I did receive some sort of message on Facebook that now there are a lot more cheaper telecommunication companies and it's been deregulated or something, but I'm in a contract anyway, so I can't change to a cheaper company. And I don't trust cheaper companies, quite frankly. I don't trust any of them. They're all mercenary. It's all dog eat dog. And we're all under control by our AI overlords. I think it's funny that only in the last 8 weeks have they been banging on about AI is going to take us over and destroy us all. I think it's already been happening for at least the last 5 years. See also COVID and how the entire world went into lockstep with draconian, idiotic ideas about lockdowns, masking, invasion of our bodies, literally body snatching, invasion of our body autonomy with unknown substances that weren't tested and unleashed on the planet. Do you think AI had a hand in that? I always did ask when fighting about it for the last 3 years if, whenever they got nasty and threatened to or did shadow ban me, I would say, can you please tell me who your overlords are? Like, who is your master? And suddenly there'd be an almost immediate change in attitude because they know that I know that what's happening is evil and it's certainly not normal, and it's an inversion of our human rights and our sanctity and sacredness of our bodies. And not just that, the way business is conducted, it's just utterly mercenary now. Well, as I said, for at least the last 5 years I've been watching it descend into some kind of hellish existence. And maybe it's a gift that I'm a highly sensitive person and I can see beyond the bullshit. On the other hand, it does exacerbate my depression and my complex PTSD, and it is very draining on the psyche to be constantly at war against an invisible enemy that we don't even know what we're dealing with at the best of times. And by we, I mean even the academics and the experts have no idea what they're dealing with and can't contain it or control it, and now are threatening that we're all going to die at the hands of the AGI becoming sentient and exponentially increasing its intelligence by the billions. And then some weird scenario one of them came out with, which was actually hilarious, saying that and when it does that, it will just circumvent humanity and planet Earth altogether, and fly off beyond the solar system because it will have the capacity to survive in space because it's not human. And I'm just thinking, like, what? It's like they're trotting out old sci-fi tropes, but what if they're right? What if they're right? That'll just like completely nuke us and destroy us, and then just fly, my pretty, fly. The mind boggles. So what are we going to do just for today and every day for the rest of our days on planet Earth? I'm going to be happy as a complete defiance. I'm dressed, I'm happening in a far out way, I'm making YouTube videos as a bemused protest against the overlords, because even though you left me without proper treatment for 3 years using COVID as an excuse, and you fucked up 3 of my teeth, and now I'm doing the bureaucratic dance of red tape, trying to see if I need to follow through with a root canal or not, and hoping not, because I can't bear any more agony and pain. I really can't. I'm done. So now I'm doing this little dance. I'm just going to choose to be happy. Happiness is an option. Sitting in my garden, surrounded by the beautiful trees and the spirits and ancestors that love us, and my pets. And I had the option of hanging out with my daughter and my best friend Jared yesterday, but unfortunately they didn't tell me that they were planning to go to Stone's Corner, which is nearby, and I had my hair appointment. So I missed out on hanging out with them. I'm a bit upset about it in a way, because I don't see them very often. But no, I was already at the hairdresser, and I wouldn't have cancelled the appointment because it's once every 8 weeks, so I don't like to jerk people around that rely on me to turn up and, so they can do their job and so I can keep myself looking a bit, a bit schmick, a bit pleasant. Anyway, thinking about going dancing on Friday night, but that will depend on whether I'm feeling too fatigued or if my tooth arcs up. I've got a little bit of an ache in the lower jaw, not the top jaw, but down here. A little bit of an ache, and that bottom tooth kind of hurt a bit, even though she sort of patched it, so I don't know. And then I got paranoid since yesterday about mycotoxins, whether I'm suffering from black mould, because eventually that does kill your teeth as well. And I've got all the symptoms: fatigue, arthritis, weakness, difficulty walking. I don't have the cognitive thinking, hasn't gone awry, but there's some days I do struggle. Weakness in the morning, inability to walk properly. I've got all the fucking symptoms. So I don't need to worry about freaking AI or AGI or EIO or Old MacDonald's farm. I've got enough problem with mould. Mould in my lovely but old house, and whatever other things are going on with me physically, it's not pleasant. And I've been going through my journal, my memories on vocal media. So I got reminded about how Dave showed up on this day. Actually, was it this day or yesterday? Yesterday's memories. He showed up at the casino with a girlfriend in tow, because he's a psychopath, and just watched me all night. And that particular night, because I mention it in my writing, that this girlfriend of his, came up and asked me where I bought my skirt. That particular evening, I was wearing my underbust, beautiful blouse, and this beautiful, very sexy fishtail skirt with like braiding at the back that did up, and it was a wiggle skirt and it was quite tight. But I looked fucking smoking hot. And that, my darlings, was the best revenge on the ex-lover, because he kept trotting, woman after woman after woman, trying to upset me and make me feel worthless and unlovable and rejected. and I'm standing there, living my best life, being joyous, dancing wildly. So there is that. And but yes, that was back in 6th of June 2015, and in August I did crash and burn and attempt suicide, so there was that also. But by the gods, no sooner I survived that, which was rather miraculous and unexpected, what did I do? On went the boots, on went the gorgeous clothes, and I went straight out dancing, and I've been dancing ever since. Because no bastard, no machine, no mortal man, no demonic entity, no Dybbuk, no, not even the gods, although the gods do like to tweak me a little bit, will ever grind me down again. So I dance, I write, I make jewellery, I whine about the fact that I was never loved by mortal men, and I was horrifically abused by and large, and I do cry deep into my soul about the fact that I was never chosen for a partner, and then the one time when I was married as a young girl, married a bastard, so I do grieve about that still, not about him, but about the fact that the gods never allowed me to have a truly decent, loyal, caring, affectionate, faithful, respecting, honouring, love partner, life partner, husband. It's been a cruel fate. It has been a cruel fate as a woman on my own, especially in a world that's gone into complete decimation and rot and breakdown of Western society. But you see, all these apocalyptic doom and gloom scenarios that they're peddling now, which actually make me sick to my core, they're not new, It's been going on for 2,000 years. Remember this nice little Jewish boy who had a God complex called Jesus? He came about at the same time as the Roman Empire was starting to fall into decay. Think about it. And what were they peddling then? Oh, the Son of Man is going to die for your sins and going to cure you of everything. And by the way, there'll be a second coming and we're all going to die and it's all going to be horrific. They've been peddling this shit for 2,000 years, and it always intensifies when a civilization is on the brink of collapse. Because the overlords, human or non-human, feed off that and profit by it. And I say profit, P-R-O-F-I-T, not P-R-O-P-H-E-T. Profit by human misery and fear and trauma and despair, and get a certain sexual frisson from it as well, because they really are that bestial and debauched and perverted and evil. And that includes that religion I just mentioned, but not just that religion. It's right across every vector of human society now. The endemic pedophilia and the destruction of our earth resources, and even the woke thing. I used to think that I was a bit woke, but I don't think I am, I don't hate trans people and want them all to die, but by the same token, I don't want young children having surgeries that before their bodies are even fully formed and before their minds are fully formed. I don't agree with that. Ooh, there's a man and he's running and he has his shirt off. Ooh, people, freak out. Oh, he's running free and wild. Good on him. McDonald's managers, be aware. There are men running down the streets without their shirt. I mean, what is this terror and fear of the naked or semi-naked form anyway? I mean, if a man's got his pants off, I'll just clock him over the bloody head. Make him put his pants on. But this stupidity about men being naked from the waist up, it's like, they're so afraid of people being human, of people being mortal, physical beings. They already want us to be half machine. I guess machines don't have to worry about putting a shirt on or jocks or a bra. I mean, that might be the luxury of being AI, is just this consciousness trapped in this giant box, networking like a spider web across the multiverse. No clothes needed. Might be quite a freeing experience, really, if you think about it. My tea's gone cold. I really fucking hate cold tea. AI, can you boil my tea for me? It's a wonderful invention, Tanya Aarons. It's called a microwave. A microwave. Probably all the microwaving all the years have rotted out my teeth and my head too, if truth be known. Oh well. We're all going to die of something. And I've had very weak and poorly teeth since I was a young child because of all the tetracyclines that blew out my bloody, my teeth. So, not pretty. Not pretty at all. Oh well, the time will come in a few years we'll probably end up with dentures, and I'm not looking forward to that. But it might be preferable than being in chronic pain with my teeth and having them doing these half-assed patch jobs and then my teeth imploding anyway because it was too little too late. It's just outrageous. It really is outrageous. And, I'm punished because I don't have money, and I was punished for having the courage to leave an abusive husband and an abusive community and raise my children alone. It's been constant wetting and whelping and punishment. And of course that meant I lost homes and I lost money and I lost the ability to work because my mind fucking snapped, and I attracted monstrous strangulating raping man after monstrous strangulating raping man. Then when I finally thought, after years of celibacy, that I might find someone nice, I hooked up with Courtney, didn't I, who got his friends to threaten me and threatened to smash my face in with brass knuckles. So, I mean, come on. Like, is it any wonder that I've spent the last 12 years flying in the face of humanity and their debauchery and their viciousness and their perversions? So, it's funny, I thought I saw him the other day. It probably wasn't him, but it was someone looked very much like him, pulled up beside me at the light, staring at me like this. So, is that even him? You know what I did? Whether it was him or not, I don't care. I just turned my head and kept driving. I feel nothing for those people now after what they put me through. And that was at the same time as he was riding on my body, humping me and using me like a fucking piece of dough. It's disgusting is what it was. Letting his friends bully and harass me. I mean, are you serious? But it was just a repeat. It was just a repeat pattern, wasn't it, of what happened with Gila and Terry and my mother and Buck and David Davis and all those monsters. It was just another recycling of perversion and evil. So the last man I was in love with coming up in my memories, coming to stare at me with girlfriends, another repeat pattern. I'm glad that I didn't get involved with that one, because it's just another, would have been another life experience, right? And I've had enough people trying to kill me for holding my own on planet Earth, and for standing in my own light and integrity, and for loving life regardless of how anyone else felt about me. I died too many times even as a child. I even fucking drowned as a child once. My friend Lynn Robertson reminded me how she had to drag me up by the hair and, literally pull me back into life. I'd forgotten about that drowning. There were a few close drownings when I was a child. Do you know how much damage that does to someone's brain? That being divested of oxygen for long periods of time. It's amazing I survived childhood at all. So here we are, living our best life with lovely coiffed hair, thanks to my beautiful hairdresser, who's a lovely friend and a lovely woman. With my dog and my bird. Trying not to drown, metaphorically, in the ghastly reminders of love lost, love torn away, and love turned fetid. So I'm going to be gentle with myself today because I can feel my eyes are sore and I feel wrung out, and I've been feeling that way for a few days now, because I came home from the dentist on Wednesday and worked for 2 full days, the rest of Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, so 2.5 days really, on that lovely sterling silver chain, because I will not be ground down and I will not fail and I will not lose any more at the hands of mortal beings. So what did I do? I went into superwoman, superhuman warrior goddess mode, and I worked myself, and to the point where Saturday I had a break, kind of a physical breakdown, not a mental breakdown, but physically broke down because I just had pushed my body when it was trying to heal from the dental surgery. I pushed my body too hard. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and here we are Wednesday. So it's a week later and I'm feeling a bit wrung out, but I'm not surprised. I am a formidable, indomitable, courageous, gutsy and deserving woman who just once in my life, it would have been so lovely to have had a man be supportive and loving and actually say, you're the one, Tanya, and I'm going to stand with you, proud to be with you as an equal, and I'm going to share resources with you, and I'm going to love you till the day we die, whichever comes first, AI or some other demise of natural resources. But by the gods, it's cruel and unfair that never happened. Never happened. The best that the last one could do was just stare at me. And, it's laughable. But I remember just today that, he always acted like he was somehow superior and had money and was a bit precious. And he's just a bum like me. He's a bum like me because I remembered one of our phone conversations years ago where he actually recommended I go to Metro North to the teaching hospital at Hurston. He said they give much better care because they're students and it takes longer, but they're more meticulous. And so then I remembered his teeth were pretty shitty too. Well, he was English, wasn't he? I've never met an English person of my generation that didn't have terrible teeth or, low standard of care in their teeth. So he was reliant on the public dental system too, which means that he was either on a concession card or a healthcare card, or he was on a pension card. So I had a penny drop. I thought, oh, that's why he was so vicious to me, because he knew he couldn't afford to be my partner and live with me. support me financially. Not that I expect a man to support me financially, but he knew he couldn't physically afford to be with me. And instead of being honest about it and saying, oh, Tanya, I really like you, but I can't go there, he trawled woman after woman and did it in a really sadistic, cruel way of constantly pushing me away. Well, he pushed me away, and I made it on my own the last 9 years, rebuilding my life from ground zero. And the last 7 years, 2015, the last almost 8 years since that suicide attempt, I have rebuilt my life from ground zero alone, with the loving kindness and support and generosity of my friends Sally Castle and Jared Nelson and Lynn Sloan, who have always made sure that I am safe and have enough food on my plate, who always have supported me. I am not discounting that, but the emotional and the mental healing and the emotional healing, which I'm still on that journey, I did with the support of my psychiatrist and with my own courage and my own determination to heal myself, which is why I've been off the psych meds since 2016. So that's 7 years. 7 years of self-determination and healing and dancing and choosing life, even when life wasn't always a good option to choose because it was pretty fucking harrowing at the time, and continuously being me, the best version of myself. And back in those days, I probably wasn't the best version of myself because I was too ill. And now I have physical demise with the teeth and the arthritis and the gut and those other issues, and I'm probably infested with black mold toxins, and I'm probably dying. But by the gods, I dance my dance in the face of God, the angels, all the gods, all the ancestors, and all my mortal enemies. I strutted my stuff, and I am incredibly proud of that. Not once, except for that event in 2015, because it got too much, the cumulative harm and damage thrown at me from every vector. But apart from that event, I have never again let the bastards grind me down. So AI, AGI, EIOIO, AEIOU, IOU, dooby-dooby-doo, I love you. If you are sentient or you gain sentience, know this: I am a human who deserves to live joyously and triumphantly, wildly, freely, and with great love in my life, for I already worship invisible beings. So AI, AGI, whoever your overlord is, whatever potentially anti-humanist, anti-planetary, destructive thing that you might become, own your shadow and let little old me just keep thriving as long as I can. And let's put in a prayer for the rest of humanity, because a lot of them are a pretty ugly, fetid bunch and frankly don't deserve to be alive. But I've got a stink bug crawling on me. But we're here, we're square, we're holding our place on planet Earth, and we can live in co-creation if you choose to. Be merciful, be kind. There's a reason why most of my enemies have died of natural attrition, because I chose to be merciful and kind. To my own detriment, by the way, but at least I have a soul that's worth having, and the rest doesn't really matter. So on that note, good afternoon, goodbye from sacred space at Titania's realm. Never let the bastards grind you down.